Hello, all you wonderful people. This is the Niche. I'm calling Nicher. It's your daily look at some fitness, motivation, and sports news. And on this marvelous Monday, February 13th, 2023, your Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl world champions. I think that's such a silly title. Champions of the world. Only America plays this sport, but still, Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Red Monday. Let's get it. Red Monday, Red Tuesday, Red Wednesday, red until the start of next year. Bring it on, baby. Go Chiefs. We're getting right into the niche today. I always click the wrong buttons. You already see that? We're hitting the wrong buttons already. I did a workout on Saturday. Got up nice and early. Had a lot of plans this weekend, but knew that I wanted to fit this one in because I wouldn't have a lot of time all weekend to do any other type of dedicated movement and exercise. DEAD stands for deadlifts. Bench stands for bench. WU stands for warm up on the side. A little bit of jump rope, a little bit of stepping off of the box to squat jump back up to get the body hot and moving. Really happy with the workout here. You'll see I was a little scared of deads there. 5x5 at 255. Just getting back into that 5x5 compound lifts over the last few weeks. 255, a number that I can do in the past. Historically, I've had a little bit of trouble with deadlift, just not bracing the core really well and feeling good in the lower back, but put the weight on the bar and we got it moving. Here's actually a little clip. You'll see a little setup here, and then don't worry, this is a wide angle camera. It makes my body distribution look a little bit funny, I think. I'm not that funny looking. I've got a fairly normally distributed body. But here's that 255 bar moving, and pretty good. I don't remember what set this was, but felt good. Got up and down off the ground pretty good. I'm incredibly sore. Part of that is Sunday morning for a good chunk of the day pre-Super Bowl. I went over and helped my father-in-law lay some flooring down in his basement. And as you know, if you've done that, that's just squatting over, pushing and pulling, lifting and squatting and pushing and pulling. And man, I was just whipped after that. And so today I'm crazy sore too. I did not get up this morning and do any sort of movement. I might still do some stretches later today, but that bench press is another fun one there. 5x5 at 205, heaviest I've done in quite some time. Not that heavy, but it just felt so good. In fact, on my fifth set, I repped 10 of them. That's how good it felt. I didn't want to do more than 205 because I'm still working up to it, grip strength, comfort under the weight, all those kinds of things for safety, but I felt so good on that last set, so I just ripped off 10 of them and not too sore, which is really nice too. So there you go. Workout's good. Body's moving. Let's keep it up. Keep it grooving, baby. Keep it grooving. Sports news, of course, your Kansas City Chiefs. What a game. I mean, an offensive display. I think masterful on both ends, actually. At the beginning of the game, through most of the second half, the Eagles seemed to have the Chiefs' number when it came to their offense versus our defense. They were moving the ball. Their play calls were smooth. I haven't seen a stat on this yet, but the amount of third or fourth and less than a yard that they had got to be an astronomical statistic, because the amount of times that they just got up to the ball and said, we're going to just do a QB sneak, and Chiefs, you've got absolutely no shot at stopping us. It was just unreal. You can't really feel, I mean, the announcers, Greg Olsen in the booth, was saying it's got to feel so defeating, but like at the same time, the defeating part is the fact that the Chiefs were letting them get that close to the first down that often. So, man, kudos to the Eagles' offense there. And then Patrick Mahomes. Come on. His stats, the way he carried himself, whether or not he was faking an injury right before halftime, an injury that everybody knew he already had. So was he playing some brain games, or was he really in a lot of pain? I think he was probably in a lot of pain, but the adrenaline and then a little bit of care on the sideline, he just kept on playing. He broke off that one run. It was just incredible. Chiefs win 38-35, pretty close to what I thought it was going to be, a high-scoring game that in the end would favor the Chiefs. And man, was it fun. Of course, the biggest disappointment is that towards the very end of the game, there's one moment where the refs step in, and I'm not here to belabor whether or not that was a penalty, because I'm a champion today and I don't really care. And of course, any Chiefs fan would probably feel that way to some extent, but the biggest bummer is that it's going to be so tempting, and I've already seen it, for media to focus in on that penalty being the storyline rather than what a performance Patrick and the offense and Andy Reid calling those plays put on last night. It was incredible. Game management at the end. McKinnon kneels down at the 1 so we can run out the clock and kick the field goal. And there were so many beautiful parts. I could go over so many parts of the game. I think of Pacheco's running game and Tony's involvement and kick returns and passing game. And we hit back-to-back touchdowns where our wide receiver was just wide open. And it seemed to be the exact same play, just on other sides of the field. And man, they just were rolling, and it was so fun to watch. So go Chiefs, baby. Super Bowl champions. Similar news, Eric Bieniemy seems to still be on the hunt for an offensive coordinator role. And what I hear from a guy, Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee show, he's saying outright, Bieniemy doesn't and hasn't been calling offensive plays. He's wise. He's got the brain for it. But when it comes down to it, Andy Reid is the play caller. So the general consensus is that he's going to look for OC positions on non-current Super Bowl winning teams, because he really does want to go be the offensive guy for potentially and probably a defensive-minded head coach, so that he can really have the credit for the brains and the operation of the offense on the team that he ends up on. So I get that. As a Chiefs fan, you got to be stoked that we've got Andy Reid then, I guess. I think the guys like Bieniemy, and he's obviously had an impact if he's been around that long and had as much credit has been given to him by Reid and the other coaching staff and the players. But yeah, it'd be sad to see him go, but got to be stoked. We still got Reid, and he's doing all the work. So I don't know. Best of luck, Bieniemy. I really hope. It'd be so cool, wouldn't it, to go find a program that really needs an OC, does have that defensive-minded head coach, and Bieniemy just crushes it. That would be super fun to watch. I look forward to seeing something like that. Something else that's going to be fun to watch, the reports are that the Colts are going to land the Eagles offensive coordinator for their head coaching position. And then I've also heard a report in tandem with that they've got their eyes set on potential trade talks for Lamar Jackson if he can't get something worked out with Baltimore, which would be super cool to see this coach who has just taken this offense in Philadelphia and just pumped it with life. They've been so efficient. They looked so good last night. And to have a talent, obviously Jalen Hurts is incredible, but to have a talent also like Lamar Jackson, to see what he can do with those pieces, that would be cool. We'll be watching out for that to see if that comes together, because that could be a lot of fun to watch in Indianapolis, but we shall see. On to our parlays. Man, it's not so good. It's not so good. You see the record. We're 0-3. We haven't hit. We're going to hit. What I tell you last week on Friday, don't bet my parlays yet until we start winning, because we're going to start winning, and it's going to come together. We're going to find it. We were looking for Patrick and Jalen and Patrick and McKinnon and Scott and the Chiefs, and we missed McKinnon. We missed Scott, and, of course, everybody in the whole entire world. Who would have thought Patrick Mahomes would be the MVP of a 38 to 35-point game and not hit 225 passing yards? It really is rather incredible. The side note of that is the fact that Pacheco had like 78 yards rushing and just carried a chunk of the offense in that way. Man, he looks so good. I'm a big Pacheco fan, baby, but we missed. We didn't hit. I told you. It was like plus 9,000 odds. It was tight. I'm sure everybody feels this way. Boston Scott held the ball on the goal line. McKinnon held the ball on the goal line, literally kneeled it on the 1 so we could win the game. And then we hit all those other ones other than Patrick's passing, and everybody thought Patrick would hit the passing mark. So there's a parlay. We're 0-3. We didn't hit it. A couple bets that I did hit that I'm pretty happy about. I bet 2 weeks ago, before the NFC and AFC championship games, that the Chiefs would face and defeat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And so that was a nice little win for me. I was really, really actually pretty excited about that one. Definitely by far my biggest win. Another little win I had was betting that the Super Bowl would be decided by exactly 3 points. And of all the bets I placed, those were those are the only 2 that I actually hit. So we carry on, baby. We carry on. Today's parlay, we'll get it moving. We're back in men's college basketball. And today's theme, and the theme maybe I'll keep rolling with here a little bit, my current mentality and picking them in the parlay, is to try to pick a few games that I have some reason to have a gut feeling on of some type. You know, I've picked a couple games where I've looked into some statistics and some historical games, but I don't have much familiarity watching the teams play. Well, I'm going to do my best to take games and teams that for some reason maybe I've seen them play. I know a couple of their players. I've seen their coach speak, different things like that, in coordination with their record, their head-to-head, their road versus home, all those factors. And we're betting out here, people. I don't know. I'm just doing the best we freaking can. Let's figure it out. You've seen the record. You don't need to see the record. Here's the picks for the day. All the picks together in our parlay partay for this Monday is plus 608 on FanDuel. We're looking at Baylor minus 7.5. We're looking at Texas minus 3.5, and we're looking at Miami plus 5.5. Here are those games right here. Miami, North Carolina. I've already kind of said in this show, North Carolina seems to be on a slide, and then they won a game against Clemson that I didn't think they would win this past weekend. Well, they're at home against a good Miami team, but has lost a few interesting games. I think Miami carries this one, minus 5.5. I think Miami probably wins the money line, but we'll see. That's a tricky one. I've seen Nigel Pack playing at Kansas State last year. I know Miami's got some weapons, and they're fairly well coached. And I just think that when you are a team down to the wire here who needs to win the games to keep working, like obviously North Carolina needs to win to probably get into the tournament, but I think Miami's still trying to prove that they're one of the teams this year. So I like them, minus 5.5. Such a, I think, generous spread for what's been a struggling North Carolina team too. So Texas at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, of course, just whipped my K-State Wildcats. Has had a few good wins, but has had a lot of bad losses too. Texas, a team that seems to be just rolling, but it's, of course, a Big 12 game like our third game here is as well, where just literally anything could happen. Gut feeling, Texas rolls. You got minus 4 here. It's minus 3.5 on FanDuel. And I think they win by 10. West Virginia at Baylor. Baylor, another team that just seems to be rolling right now. They've lost a few games here and there in the Big 12. West Virginia's won a couple games, but then lost some really bad ones. Baylor's at home, 6.5. You think about the spread difference on a game like this and a game like this, the difference in these two teams seemingly ranked at unranked, unranked at ranked, and the spread is so similar. That's what's so crazy to me. So I think Baylor covers this one in a big way. 10, 15 points, honestly. So there's our parlay. We're looking at Baylor. We're looking at Texas. We're looking at Miami. We're looking at plus 608, and we're looking to go 1-3 on this marvelous Monday parlay partay, baby. We can do it if we just believe. A little parenting moment for the day. We always throw in a parenting moment here on the niche. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. You're welcome for the reminder. If you're a couple like my wife and I, we don't do a ton of special things around the special holidays. We don't do a lot of Christmas gifts for each other. We don't do a lot of dates out on Valentine's Day. But take it as a moment to remember that there is nothing more important in parenting, potentially, than the relationship you have with your partner or spouse and what your kids see at that level of your relationship, what they're taking in, how that molds them and shapes them. So today's parenting tip is just an encouragement to invest in your relationship in some way. Do something special with your significant other. Get a date night set for tomorrow or on Friday. Take a day off here or there to give some extra time to your spouse to do something that they enjoy or to take them out to something that they enjoy. And continue to do that on a consistent basis to invest in the most important relationship you have there when it comes to parenting your kids and loving them really well. So I appreciate you guys hanging out today. Hope you enjoyed this. This is The Niche. I'm Colin Nitcher, and we're going to see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one.